Ruben Amorim had to say after the game about needing reinforcements within the midfield, talking about the lack of pace. We have a lack of pace, especially in the middle of the park, and you can feel it's hard to win the ball, but we created chances.
Well, but I don't get what Oggy said, Morgan Gibbs-White there. Morgan Gibbs-White is a player who plays between the striker and the midfield, and they've got Bruno Fernandes, they've got Cunha, they've got players that do that. They're not central midfielders. It's a bit worrying that Oggy says that they got outplayed and couldn't get the ball off Leeds United. And on yesterday's show, Julian Laurens was saying, we don't fancy Agate because he can't pass the ball. They signed him from PSG, they paid millions for him, and we're talking about a guy who can't pass the ball. So you've got a player who really can't pass the ball and you're trying to play out from the back. He's not in the team. You've got a player in Casemiro, let's be honest, he's finished at this level. And then next to him, you've got Bruno Fernandes, who really needs to be further up the field. But you can't push him up the field because you haven't got anybody else here, and then you've signed Cunha. I mean, it beggars belief. And then, again, yesterday, they were talking about, well, they need a front man, and they haven't ruled out Nico Jackson. I mean, you'd just, if you were a United, you would just burn the season tickets. If they sign Nico Jackson, you just go, right, just forget it.
Does a modern player not bother with what the manager says anymore? If I'm a central midfield player for Man United and I'm listening to the manager,
sure,
I'm going to be thinking, hold on a second. I think you'd have to go and say, hold on a second. If you're talking about me, can you tell me to my face?
Right.
Because you can't say that. Well, we all know it's true, and they probably know it's true, but you don't come out and say that in the press. I mean, that's just crazy. It makes no sense whatsoever. And apparently, your modern player isn't like us in our day where you would just get slaughtered and you had to deal with it. You know, apparently the modern day player is a bit soft and a bit lightweight and needs a cuddle.
Right.
So what's that going to do to anybody? I mean, Kobe Mainoo would be a great example. Kobe Mainoo must be thinking, well, I may as well try and find another club. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get what the coach is thinking.
It seems that Amorim is quite happy. I mean, he was, you know, the Rashford cases last year is slightly different because it ran a lot deeper, and his comments were very strong on, you know, Rashford. You know, not the cleverest of comments, I don't think, to be honest, about I'd rather play the bus driver and all that sort of stuff. But I think what he's doing here and has done, he's covering his own backside. He's watching his team being outplayed, as Mark said, even in a pre-season friendly. And when he's asked these questions at press conferences, he said, "Well, it's not me.
Right.
It's not me.
Squad.
I don't have somebody to run about in the middle of the park. So it's not me, and it's nothing I'm doing. What I'm doing the best I can." Basically, that's what he's saying. He's sort of covering himself, and he just seems hell bent. And I think we're going to talk about it all year again. He's just hell bent and playing the same way every week.
What's going to happen at the start of the season if they don't start well? Because, as you said, he's covering his own back, but he's covering his own back off the back of not looking after the players.
Right.
So before you've even kicked a ball in anger,
it's a vicious circle, isn't it?
You've got the players thinking, hold on, this guy's looking after himself. He's not even bothered to look after us. I tell you, he's got no chance. They start badly. He's got no chance.
They got a midfield and back line that just wouldn't get you past mid-table.
No, you look at that 11 again, weren't you? One word on Mbeumo. What's going on? Why is this taking so long, Mark?
No medical this weekend. It should be done next 24, 40 hours. Might make the flight to America on Tuesday with the squad, but he needs a visa before he can do that.
Okay, lovely, jubbly. God, that was a lot of match.
Get an Esty, can he? I can show him how to get an Esty.
I mean, Esther.
An Esther.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I think he needs a little bit more than that. I think he needs a visa. Is a better option. The problem he has is if Rafinha doesn't play in the 10 role, if Rafinha continues to play in that wide left, nobody's dropping Lamine Yamal. Not happening. You know what I mean? He's arguably best player in the world last season, and Robert Lewandowski down the middle. So it's an opportunity, but really, unless something happens, it's going to be a lot of sitting on the bench. But that's better than training at 5 p.m. with a couple of the other duffers that are not wanted.
I mean, I guess everybody's a winner. Let's be honest.
I don't know. If I'm a Barcelona fan, I'm hearing my team are linked to Williams, they're linked to Diaz, and we can't get them, so we're getting Marcus Rashford?
But it's the situation you find yourself in that getting Rashford actually is going to be okay. You got to look at the big
Are there not
picture.
better options out there?
Well, obviously not. I mean, you're not the only person that doesn't think Rashford's right now worth the money that they're going to be paying him. None of us think that. But Barcelona find themselves in a situation where this is the best option. So whether Barcelona fans love it or not, this is a good situation for everybody. The one thing that I don't like about it is it gives you a bad taste in your mouth. Because professional football is a tough business. But you know what? Sometimes you've got to earn your luck. And he hasn't earned it. And he's a lucky, lucky boy. From a professional point of view, he doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve to be going to a great club like Barcelona the way he's conducted himself over the last 12 months. And even when he went to Villa, as Craig said, he wasn't particularly great.
That's quite damning, Stevie. What in particular frustrates you about this?
Well, what can we sit here and say, you know what, Marcus Rashford has done everything to try and make himself on the field a success with either Aston Villa or Manchester United. Maybe a little bit more Villa, but with Manchester United. And it's 100% no. 100% no. He absolutely has done all the wrong things, has said all the wrong things, has acted in the wrong manner, has been unprofessional, being in Ireland the night before training and all, and then
drop your sheet.
No, it doesn't matter.
I dropped it.
Everything he's done has been so unprofessional that, you know, we as professionals will stick up for each other. Unless you're out of line.
Right.
And I don't think there'll be many pros now or former pros sticking up for this guy the way he's acted. And he doesn't deserve to be going to a great club like Barcelona. But, as I started with, it's a situation that he's found himself in, as have Barcelona.
I'm looking at it from his perspective in Man United. I suppose we talked about Man United in yesterday's show and sort of scratching my head, thinking, well, they're not going to be in amongst the big boys because they're not spending on the best players, they're signing players. But I'm looking at it from their point of view and his point of view, what an opportunity this is. Now, from Barcelona's point of view, it's not the most glamorous signing, you know. And Stevie's right, he signed this new contract, huge contract after that great season at United. His attitude, let's be honest about it, his attitude was abysmal. You could go back and get any game, long before Ruben Amorim came in, when Eric Ten Hag was still there, you could go back and pretty much get any game, even at Old Trafford in front of his own fans, where he was sauntering around, walking around, not tracking back, not even trying to press the ball, not trying to make a challenge, on top of not really producing anything going forward. So, you know, his attitude has been appalling. He got this chance at Villa, which he semi-took. He has possibly got this amazing chance at Barcelona, which just is off the charts. Off the charts for a player who's performed in the way he has for a couple of years. The one thing I would say, and I'm not saying it's easier to go and play in Spain, I am not saying that, but you look at it's a different game in Spain to it is in England. You look at what Anthony was able to do at Real Betis. Anthony at Man United could barely get the ball from A to B. You never saw him beat a defender, you didn't see any end product, but somehow we saw a really good, positive side of Anthony at Real Betis, and maybe the game in Spain is just a little bit different, a little bit slower, maybe a little bit more technical than some of the...
United remain in the market for a midfielder, and it is easy to understand why. Fernandes aside, they do not have naturally athletic midfielders, and, in Amorim's system, it is vital to have players who can cover the ground. We have a lack of pace, especially in the middle of the park, and you can feel it is hard to win the ball, Amorim said. We have a lot to improve, the speed of the game, all the details. We have to put in the quality, but this club is not just about the effort. It's the quality. Given United's shortage of pace, physicality and mobility in central midfield, it is hard to believe they can allow this summer window to close without addressing those shortcomings. Casemiro, at 33, cannot be expected to start every week. Manuel Ugarte still has much to prove, and Amorim is not convinced by Kobbie Mainoo as one of the two number 6. Diego Leon was another to make his United debut in the first half, but Amorim must decide whether to keep the 18-year-old Paraguayan, a £6.5 million signing from Cerro Porteño, or send him out on loan. He was slow out to Jayden Bogle early in the game and then failed to track the Leeds right-back's run as he was released by Wilfred Gnonto, although left centre-back Luke Shaw was sluggish when pushing up into midfield and leaving space in behind for their opponents to exploit. We have to understand that the kid came from Paraguay. It's his second week at Manchester United, the United head coach said. He did really well. He's learning things, he's powerful, he's going to be a very good player.